This is a podcast by WellHouse Church, where personal spiritual growth is fueled through a variety of practices rather than a single prescriptive time of devotion, where we discuss different spiritual practices that help us be more present with God, others, and ourselves. Howdy, practitioners.
What up? What up? What up? What up?
What's going on?
Hey, hey.
So, what you been up to, bro?
Well, we have an exciting announcement for the podcast. If you don't follow us on Facebook,
You should.
Yeah, you should. You may not be aware of this, but one of our WellHouse values is to be relational. And originally we started these podcasts to better serve our community. So how a traditional church would have like Sunday school curriculum or small group curriculum or those kinds of things.
We have these.
Well, just being blunt, I'm never satisfied with those.
No, they suck.
And so, and the crazy thing is I just got sent like a box of like 30 and I haven't had a chance to look through it, but I looked through it and the Dean of Truett is one of the authors. And so
I apologize.
No. My reason for saying that is I think they're trying to get better, but historically they've not been good.
Yeah.
And so I just didn't want to go that route. I wanted to provide something else. Yep. And so we created these podcasts and we thought, hey, if a traditional church would have three kind of informational times, a Sunday night, a Sunday morning, and a Wednesday night. Well, if we created 4 20 to 25-minute podcasts, we're getting there, right? Yeah. So we created these instead, but boy, have they taken off with people outside of our in-person community.
Oh my gosh, you guys, like we talked about last week and the week before, like you guys are amazing. It's just blowing up.
Yeah, killing it. We had over 100, the most conservative number I can come up with analytically, we had over 100 unique people for a church that's 5 months old, not even.
What that means is if we count that as like, what were you?
Yeah, we're 4 months old officially.
Yeah.
4 full months old.
What that means that if we count that as like interaction.
Oh, yeah.
That is like crazy kind of growth for a church.
Well, that would put us statistically, we started with a launch team of 12?
Yes.
Statistically, that would put us as one of the fastest growing churches in America.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's
now,
crazy.
Statistics don't track that stuff, but.
Well, yeah, I always say statistics, they do track that statistically if you go to the proper places to report. But I also say that statistics they're not always accurate. They are, but they're not. But
there's always an error for margin.
Well,
margin for error.
Well, no, I don't even mean that. Did you know that 85% of all people that get hit by a car, like their person gets hit by a car, happen in speed zones less than 45 miles an hour?
Yeah, I believe that.
Why do you believe that, though? Because nobody goes freaking walking down the middle of a highway. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hit more people in speed zones of less than 45 miles an hour because that's where people freaking walk.
Yeah.
So statistics don't always matter. They are misleading at times. But of that to say.
Although, to hold on, in defense of statistics, because I am a social work major.
You have to defend statistics.
Based solely on empirical evidence. In a way, Bill Gates predicted COVID-19.
Yeah, I get it. But
by statistics, go watch his TED Talk back in 2014. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah, no, I get it. But all that to say, WellHouse has become something that we couldn't have dreamed that it would ever become. And it's growing at such a crazy rate. We just couldn't have dreamed it. I mean, we're getting insane amounts of downloads. We've got over 100 unique people. And that's the other thing. Our 100 unique people engaged in at least 3 of our podcasts over the month. So we're just experiencing crazy kind of growth, but we don't want that growth to make us lose who we are at our core. No. And one of our values at our core is to be relational. We just looked around the church and said, hey, there's not a lot of relationship that happens here. And we don't want to lose that with all of our growth online. And so we're going to try a few different things to continue that relationship. And so we've created a community group for each of our podcasts. So if you listen to all of our podcasts, join every community group. If you only listen to some of them, join some of them. The one for this one is called Practicing Presence. You can go to our WellHouse Facebook page. I'll have it linked in the show notes, and you can go to our groups and you'll find it. It is a private group because I do want it to be a safe space for people that can't just search something and have something pop up.
Sorry, y'all. It just started raining.
Yeah, it started like coming down.
Yeah, rain. Just like weirded me out a little bit.
Out of nowhere. But yeah, so feel free to join that community group. We're going to continue conversation. And as we wrap up the Enneagram conversation, we're going to move into a conversation about prayer. I feel like that group could be really formative and helpful for a lot of people.
I'm actually really excited about that series. And I really encourage you, listener, first of all, to get into the group just to be in the group. But second of all, to get into the group, to find other people like you in your Enneagram. And then as we move into the prayer series, I want you guys to get in there and find other people with your Enneagram that have prayer practices that have worked for them and try them for yourself.
Yeah. This is about building relationships.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do it in that way. And another way that we want to be relational with you is a very intimate way. And so we've created a way for us to be able to communicate with you via text. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to connect with us in that way, just text the word practitioner to the number in the show notes.
I hadn't heard that yet. I like it.
Yeah. You can just text practitioner to the number that's down in the show notes, and you'll connect with us, and we'll be able to communicate with you. If you ever have a question, you can just text that number. It's just a much more real life way for us to be in communication and relationship with you. So I'm really excited about those couple of pieces that we're just now instituting and creating, but that I really think are going to be good for our community.
Yeah. So for non-video listeners, go to the show notes, click the link. You guys go there, click the link, do the things.
Yeah,
what to do.
Do the things.
Do all the things. Hit that like button. Oh my God. Smash that bell.
Stop.
I've been waiting to say that for so long.
We're a podcast that has video. We're not a video.
No, we're not.
Oh my gosh. Can't believe you.
So we're
look at you. You sure you don't have a wing 7? Look at you.
I think sometimes I do, but honestly, I think it depends on the day.
Oh, that's true.
But so we are talking about the 7, the enthusiast.
Yep.
I think that we should rename it the partier, though.
Yeah. So Saturate the World calls him the joyful person.
Yeah. I think that's the first one that kind of makes sense.
When I think about the 7, I do think about the person that's the life of the party.
Yeah, I do too.
They are that person that's in the mix of everything. Everybody likes them.
They're the Phoebes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Phoebe is this happy-go-lucky kind of...
No. I don't... We don't script these. I don't agree with that at all. I mean, we're also breaking my, essential rule of, don't type people.
Oh, well, yeah. But they type people.
Well, yeah, but they also caveat, hey, we don't know about this.
Yeah, I don't know. Phoebe's a fictional person. So
well, that's true, too. No,
Frodo Baggins, who they typed as a 6, is obviously a fictional person. So
yeah, fair point. But if you're going to go, I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard to type a 7. And in terms of fictional characters, I don't agree with Phoebe.
I firmly agree with maybe Phoebe. No, Phoebe's not even a 4. I don't know who else. Definitely a 7.
I could totally see her being a 9.
No,
she's not a 7. I don't agree to those terms. But let's talk more about the 7.
Yeah.
I've got some famous 7s here from Saturate the World. We'll see how we agree. The first one they drop, I'm like, oh my God, that makes so much sense, but I'd never thought about it. King Solomon. If you've ever read Ecclesiastes or Proverbs,
yeah.
that dude's absolutely a 7.
Yeah, 100%.
Continuing on, we got Winston Churchill, Franklin Roosevelt, George W. Bush, John Belushi, I don't know who that is, Chevy Chase, Stephen Colbert, Billy Crystal, Jay Leno, Martin Short, Robin Williams, George Clooney, Tom Hanks, Robert Downey Jr., Leonardo DiCaprio, Vince Vaughn, and Babe Ruth.
So a lot of those I agree with, and 2 of them overlapped.
Oh, okay. 2 overlap.
So I have Robin Williams.
Okay. Yep.
Wolfgang Amadeus. I don't know who that is.
Me either.
And then I have Mozart.
Ooh.
And then Stephen Colbert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stephen Colbert seems like a good one to go with. Like, okay, he's a 7.
Robin Williams also makes sense.
Robin Williams also makes sense.
Like,
that's true.
Down to the fact that he used humor to mask everything else.
Yeah, for sure. So, for a 7, the underlying fear is, or the underlying emotion is fear.
Yeah.
And specifically fear of rejection.
Yep.
A 7 is the kind of person that feels like they must be fun to be valuable.
Yeah, basically. And I do have a quote here from The Road Back to You, and it is a quote from Peter Pan, and I actually just love it because it just hits the nail on the head for the 7. Just think of happy things, and your heart will fly on wings.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, like, yeah.
They're like the person that it's Super Bowl week. We got the Super Bowl coming on Sunday. They're like the person that you show up to the Super Bowl party early and you know they're coming, and like the party really can't start until that person gets there.
Yeah.
Because they're just infectious with their fun and excitement.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. 100%. I've known 1 7, and it was absolutely that 100%.
I don't know. I think I know a 7, or I used to know a 7, but I don't think in my intimate circles. I
don't have a lot of 7s in my circle either.
Excuse me. It'd probably be good for me too. As a 3, it would be really good for me to have a 7, but I just don't have one.
If I had 7s as my close friends, like
it'd be really good.
They would be really good for me.
Be really good for you.
But so healthy 7s are aware of the energy they have invested in manufacturing happiness, and they know that joy is a gift or grace that can only be received.
Yeah.
They're just happy, joyful people, in general.
Just, all around. They're just happy and joyful people. And interestingly enough, once again, I hate this. They don't put the arrows on here. So I don't know which one is stress and which one's security, but they can end up
I've got that.
Functioning like a 1. And I'm going to say that's their integration.
Yeah. So no, stress is their disintegration. So 1s is their disintegration.
Their disintegration. Okay. So if you're a 7 and you end up being a person that sees the world black and white, which you can automatically tell that's not a good place to be for a 7. You're in an unhealthy place. But if you're in a healthy place,
you move to a 5. Which means that you have the capacity to take a step back sometimes. And you don't feel the need to
always
to feel validated by being happy and joyful.
That's right. That's right. And the thing I think that is important to note here about a 7 is that they act that way because of fear. And more specifically, it's a fear that I need to be liked by everyone because I can't be dependent upon anyone for anything.
Yeah.
I can't be let down. And so I've got to be the one that people need around, but I can't need anyone else.
No, I think that's fair. So
I think, so I will say the Saturate the World people have a great comment here that I just can't not quote. It says, 7s uniquely bear God's image in the way they manifest the joy, gladness, and genuine enthusiasm of God. Gospel means good news or joyous, life-giving news. 7s naturally bring the vibe of the gospel into people's lives. Wow. We talk about it all the time that, like, if your good news isn't good news, you're not doing it right. And that's so true. 7s embody the joy that the gospel carries.
So think about it. Let's think about it like this. I'm not going to type people because we don't do that. But think about every sermon that you've sat through.
Okay.
Think about every talk, whether it's scriptural or not. Which ones impact you the most? The enthusiastic speakers.
Well, they're at least the ones that capture your attention the best. Yeah.
Right. They're the ones that can bring you in. Their content may not be good, but like they capture you, they bring you in. But remember that one guy when we took those students to was it to Florida? No. Oh, it was Galveston.
Yeah, it was Galveston.
It was Galveston. When we took those students to Galveston, there was that one speaker at that camp.
The morning one or the evening one?
The morning one. No, the evening guy. The evening guy.
The African American?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
He was that enthusiastic speaker.
He was.
That captured you, but he had good news.
Yeah, he was the kind of guy that, and this is something, he was really formative for me in some, I was wrestling with something in scripture just about the Bible and how Genesis and Revelation, I talk about it all the time. The Bible is a story. And so the conflict that arises in the beginning of the story must be resolved at the end of the story. And the narrative that I'd grown up with, that we were all going to float away to heaven and there was going to be a new heaven and a new earth somewhere else, like that doesn't resolve the tension at all.
No.
It just creates something new. It doesn't fix the story. And so I was looking for something else, and he was like, he's talking about heaven. He's like, I can't wait to get to heaven. It's like, ooh, I wonder where this is going. Because when other people talk about heaven, we're just going to be sitting around with halos singing Kumbaya to Jesus or something. I was like, we're at a youth camp, dude. I don't know. That's not really going to fly. I don't know I don't know where you're going, bro.
You're about to bore people out of heaven.
People are literally about to fall asleep, and you're talking about heaven. Like, something ain't right. He goes, nah, I think it's going to be like the garden. He's like, we're going to be exploring the world with God. He's like, I'm going to be scuba diving.
Yeah.
I'm going to be windsurfing. I'm going to be doing all this fun stuff with Jesus.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, wait, that actually does solve the end of the story. And when he talked about heaven, it was captivating.
It was.
Like, I wanted to be there with him. I was like, bro, I'm going to come find you. I want to go hike with you. Like,
yeah, I'm like, I want to go down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon with this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, dude, I will literally go like you, me, Jesus.
Couple beers.
Maybe Obama. Like, let's go play a round of golf. Like, I don't know what's going on, but like, yeah, I'm in it to win it. Like, I'm with you all the way to the end. Like, everything about what he said was captivating, and like I wanted to be right there with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, if I'm not following Jesus, you're a close second, bro. And that's what a 7 brings out in people.
Absolutely. So real quick, I just want to hit on this.
You have to.
I have to.
You were dying.
I have to.
For our listeners, they couldn't see it, but our video people could.
I loved that because when you just threw Obama in there, I was like, absolutely. Like,
yeah, I think
we have some people listening to this. I know, like, statistically speaking, there's going to be some people listening to this that like don't like
Obama. It happens.
But like, I don't identify as a Democrat. You guys know that.
I don't identify as a Democrat.
But like, I wish I had been more mature to be able to like, fully experience the Obama administration.
Well, I just think even outside of politics,
he's just a good dude.
Obama's kind of a good dude.
He's just a good dude.
Did you see him on Fallon recently?
No.
He's from Chicago. He picked New York style pizza over Chicago pizza. I'm like, dude, legit. Chicago hates you now, but like, awesome. He's also apparently pretty good at golf.
Yeah, I would love to play a round of golf with Obama. That'd be dope.
Yeah, like
that would be dope.
And he's also pretty good. Apparently, he's played several times with Tiger Woods.
Oh,
Tiger Woods explained his golf game, Obama's golf game, as straight. He just hits the ball straight. It's like, oh, that's
so. Is it like good old man golf, like where he just hits the ball straight? Like,
I also think he hits it adequately far.
Okay. Well, so, anyways, back to the topic.
Yeah, we've rambled a bit, but it's a 7. You can't I can't talk about a 7 and not get excited.
No.
Like if you're talking about a 7 and you're following the rules, like you're doing something wrong because 7s don't do that.
Yeah. So real quick, we have to talk about the wings, just real quick.
Yeah, quickly.
7s with the 6 wing are fueled by the consciousness of the 6. They give both projects and people more time before moving on to the next thing. So like they are focused, they are willing to give people their time. They
end up becoming loyal.
Yeah,
they end up becoming
pick
invested.
Up that loyalist piece. Now with the 8 wing,
that one. I think that's the most intriguing number connection of all time.
The 7 wing 8 and the 8 wing 7.
Yep,
they're very just complex. So they are competitive, bold, and aggressive, reflecting the 8's characteristic bravado. They are persuasive and assertive in relation to their ideas and agendas, and they usually get their way. I love that they threw that piece in there that they usually get their way. Just because they're so dadgum argumentative.
Well, that's the 8, man. I can't wait to talk about the 8 next week.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so exciting.
All right, so some downstream practices for the 8s, the spiritual practices, for the 7s, the spiritual practices that become natural. They're easy for this person. Any guesses?
Being relational, hanging out with people.
Celebration.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Or actually, community is the one you're talking about. Yeah. That's one of them. Just being in genuine community and fellowship. We don't talk about it a lot in more conservative traditional circles, but spiritual friendship is. It's
a valid spiritual practice.
It's a practice. We've practiced it for ages. We've got it in thousands of years worth of Christian literature.
We just don't talk about it.
We just don't talk about it because it doesn't seem spiritual. But
but it absolutely
Jesus was in community with people.
Yeah.
And I think we're
going to talk about spiritual friendship at some point, though.
We will eventually. Yeah.
It might be down the line, but we're going to talk about it.
And then the other downstream practice that comes easy to the 7 is celebration. It's easy to celebrate. When you're happy and joyful and excited, that's the easy thing to go. Classic thing for a 7 is like going, oh, hey man, that interview I had? I got the job. Oh, cool. Let's go out and have beers and celebrate, right? Yeah. It's easy for the 7 to get there at a point of celebration. And so when you take that and you celebrate the things that you have because of God, it's like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. The upstream practices.
Sitting still and quiet.
Yeah, solitude and silence.
Yeah, I knew it.
That's going to be a hard one. But I love what Saturate the World says, that 7 should set time each day to get alone with God and be still and silent before him. Solitude releases 7s from their stage persona, need to perform, and over-dependence on others. Silence allows them to feel whatever they're trying to avoid beneath the surface and to meet with God in their inner being and emotional pain.
That is good stuff.
And that's why I love the way that Saturate the World has done this, because they're practices that come easy to us. And so we should engage in them because they are easy to us and they are life-giving. Yeah. But then there are other practices that don't come easy to us, but they cut against the very detriment of who we are.
They cut against the grain in a way that you would sand down a piece of wood.
Yeah.
To really get those rough edges, like you would cut against the grains of a piece of meat.
Yeah.
To get the most tender, most edible piece of the meat.
Exactly. It makes it, and what happens when you do that? It makes it more tender.
Yeah.
Right? It's something that's formative and life-giving, but it doesn't come natural to us.
It's hard, but it's a good thing.
The last downstream practice that Saturate the World recommends for 7s is fasting. Because a 7 is so dependent upon the experience, and a lot of time experiences happen around food, that giving up that to replace it with an experience from God or with God is a very helpful thing for them.
You want to read the gospel 7s need to believe real quick?
I do.
Because I've really been enjoying those.
Yeah, these are one of my favorite pieces. So here we go. The gospel 7s need to believe. The world is so broken that Jesus had to come and die to restore it. This means I don't have to paint my life in beautiful colors. The cross frees me to be honest about the painful parts of my story and about my own brokenness. I'm so bad, Jesus had to die for me to save me. It is also true that I am so loved that Jesus was glad to die for me. It was for the joy set before him that he endured the cross. I do not have to try to fill the void in my life or cover up my pain, because in spite of my brokenness, Jesus loves me and gave himself for me.